Hey Toasters, welcome to episode 5 of Mouthful of Toast. I'm Tim, and I'm here with one of my co-hosts, Carrie.
Hello.
And over Skype, I have Ian.
Hello.
We're here to bring you all the latest news and fun stuff. Thanks for tuning in. So, if you may have noticed, the last 2 episodes, we had a nice bump from Dante Bosco.
Yeah.
Yay!
Pretty great guy.
So I feel like we should have mentioned that beforehand and totally forgot. I interviewed him at Otakon. If you haven't seen the full interview, it's available on our YouTube page. But yeah, he was super cool, nice enough to record that little bumper for us. And hopefully once we start getting more press passes for conventions, we'll have a rotation of bumpers of
nice.
All of the famous people who want to be friends with us.
Yeah, we'll have lots of cool little bumps.
They want to. They just don't know yet.
For now, we're going to try to have different anime openings and endings at the beginning and ends of our episodes, and hope maybe you can try to guess them before we tell you. But just whatever we feel like playing, it's gonna change up. Just don't know what to expect anymore. And you may have noticed on our website we have a brand new little host page. If you click that, you'll see little biographies of us and links to contact us, so we don't have to keep telling you every episode. Just follow our Twitters.
Just do it,
remember,
please. Oh, God.
Start writing down the screen name right now. No, you just click the links. It's really good. So we'll have new art, too, for little bios, too, for a few of them. So, and you may have also noticed an article.
That's
written
right.
material on a website. Shocking.
Oh, yeah. They no longer need to just hear us talk about anime on audio form. You can hear, you can read people that have, talked on our podcasts, as in, Lindsay, our first guest on our first bonus episode, did a write-up about Comiket, and she, gave us pictures to use as well, which is wonderful. And that's the first article, the first true article that we have on mouthfuloftoast.com.
So yeah, bookmark that website and stay tuned for more updates.
We're gonna have more articles. I think Ian's planning a few reviews.
Yes, I wanted to get into the whole anime review, just the streaming review sort of angle. And so, might as well start now. I mean, even though it's a little late in the season. I'm still watching Terror and Resonance, so I'll put up a review for the first few episodes, and then after that do the last 3 on their own individually, and then have a full series review. And of course, everyone else will be getting on that as well. We just want more content for you guys to have and read.
Yeah, and if you are the journalistic type and you want to perhaps contribute some short articles, feel free to drop us a line, whether that be on our Twitter or Facebook, or shoot us an email at contact@mouthfuloftoast.com. And we will see if your writing is up to snuff, and if it is, we'll publish it. So
yeah, we'd like to be a platform for a bunch of you guys, and we'll hopefully have our own writing and yours as well, sharing the space and being able to cover as much anime as possible, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah.
So much anime.
Send you minions to watch every series we don't bother watching,
yes.
So it'll work out.
Yes. So no 5-star reviews this week, but we do have a lot of news. Yes, don't forget, please do take the 45 seconds to hop on iTunes and submit a 5-star review. We will read that review on the air as we have been previously, and you can use it as a platform to plug whatever you feel like plugging. So whether that be your website or your Facebook page or Twitter, whatever, your own podcast, we'll read it. You can use it to tell a dirty joke. It doesn't really matter. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, Apple. But come on. Come on.
We need to get out somehow. Yeah.
We want to read your 5-star reviews on our new Apple Watches when those come out.
Yeah.
And, just
the devil so.
Yeah. Squint really hard at them.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, please leave 5-star reviews. They help us get the word out. They help us, grow our little podcast profile. I mean, we're still starting off. We're at episode 5, sure, but we want to have, a little bit more. We want to get even more and more. So just help us out. Leave us some 5-star reviews, and we'll help you out in exchange.
Yep. So we're going to start right into news. Tim, do you want to take this, or you want me to take this?
Yeah, I got this. Okay. The movie that just came out in Oscar season, Wolf of Wall Street, had a big star, and she is in talks for the Ghost in the Shell live-action movie.
I did not know they were making a live-action Ghost in the Shell
yeah,
film.
I didn't either. Apparently it was somebody's passion project, and I could imagine that it was in development hell for just, forever. One of those things, just like the Akira movie, I would think.
Yeah, it's being published, or it's under DreamWorks. And the director is apparently
Snow White and the Huntsman.
Rupert Sanders, who did Snow White and the Huntsman, which I didn't see.
That was a movie?
It was sure was a thing.
So he directed one thing, and certainly he will direct another. But the actress in talks is Margot Robbie.
Yes.
And, I don't have any problem with her. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street was a great movie from what I heard.
Sure.
But
yeah, it was a really good movie. Amazing movie. She has a sizable role in it. I don't know about, if she showed the kind of skill that would be necessary for playing the Major, but I don't know. I mean, she's definitely an actress, and she's definitely got talent.
She hasn't done a ton of stuff. She, like, Wolf of Wall Street is her biggest role so far. She's also set to be Jane Porter in the upcoming Tarzan adaptation. She's done some television stuff. She was on Pan Am, and she was also on Neighbors. So
I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed that they don't have a Japanese actress for this role. That's a little bummer.
It's an interesting thing because, like I mentioned before, like the translation of Japanese stories that are kind of not exclusively Japanese to a Western sort of setting is still fine, I guess. Like Ghost in the Shell doesn't feel exclusively Japanese to me.
Here's what I think. Like, if it is like sort of like if they're going for like a loose adaptation, it's maybe sort of kind of what they did with like Edge of Tomorrow from All You Need Is Kill, where like the concept was there and the basic plot was there, but the setting was changed a little bit and the characters were changed a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the route that they chose to take with Ghost in the Shell, if for no other reason than to make it a little more relatable for an American audience.
Sure.
So, I don't think Ghost in the Shell doesn't need to be like exclusively a Japanese story. I mean, obviously the main character's name is Makoto Kusanagi. Like, I don't know if you can get like more of a, true and blue Japanese name than that. But at the same time, wouldn't surprise me if they just went and changed the name of the main character. So.
Mary Kuto. She's half Japanese.
Yeah.
They just pronounce all the names with an American accent. Makoto Kusanagi.
No.
There we go. Americanized,
Perfect. I can't wait to see it.
All right. Moving on. The redub of the classic 1990s Sailor Moon premiered on Hulu earlier this week. So if you're listening to us now and you haven't started watching that, just hop on Hulu right now and watch it.
What are you doing? It's the classic.
I mean, like, finish the episode first and then go and watch it. Don't be like, fuck these guys.
Don't stop right now.
And
I don't think we can compete with Sailor Moon, but I mean, you've got time for both, please.
Yeah. So I haven't had time to start re-watching classic Sailor Moon, but I do fully intend to do that.
It did air #1 on Hulu that weekend.
That doesn't surprise me.
And now, all the first season is up now, just that entire dub. And I'm like, I guess I have more of a reason to now. Like, I was kind of excited to revisit it, but now that, I'm not following Crystal anymore, so I think I just want my Sailor Moon fix that I didn't get. So I'm just going to go to this, basically.
Well, speaking of Sailor Moon Crystal, they also have announced that they are doing a limited release Sailor Moon Crystal Blu-ray set. That come in a fancy box with all this fancy stuff and concept art and book and...
In America or Japan?
Japan. Sorry, America.
When are we getting it? We want it now.
Some point, I guess. Yeah.
I guess
Now, here's the thing. The Blu-rays are region-free, so they can be played on any Blu-ray player.
Sure.
There you go.
So,
Imported.
Yeah.
I think the box is really pretty. It's too bad that the actual animation quality in Sailor Moon Crystal is not as pretty as the box art on their Blu-ray set.
It's getting a little better.
They're
trying
a little
harder.
bit better.
It's a weird style to put anime. I got to give a little more credit. It's trying. It's really trying.
I watched the.
Is it though?
I watched I think episodes 2 and 3 were terrible. Episode
The nadir of
4
the series,
had
yeah.
some questionable quality moments. And overall, I didn't like, there wasn't anything in the most recent episode, the Jupiter episode, that like screamed out at me, like, look at this terrible wonky appendage. But you know, I know a lot of people are not interested in Sailor Moon Crystal, so hey, hop on Hulu, watch Sailor Moon Classic. I'm really looking forward to the new voice actors because Stephanie Sheh is Usagi, and I really like her other work. So
Yeah, there you go. Something for all the Sailor Moon fans.
I also find it hilarious that Johnny Young Bosch is Artemis. So yeah, you can check out the full dubcast on the article linked in the show notes. So, Ian, you want to take this next one?
Yep. In terms of new anime, Under the Dog had a Kickstarter to raise money for their pilot episode. And we talked about that when that was still running. The Kickstarter just ended, and they've surpassed their $580,000 goal by a very healthy $300K, basically. And it's a really interesting thing that just, you know, that these big names in anime are going through the Kickstarter angle. Probably because, well, Kickstarter is not really a thing in Japan at all until the Little Witch Academia 2 Kickstarter happened and just got funded in, what, like an hour, was it? Something like that?
Something insane, yeah.
Yeah.
Take
And
our
so
money, yeah.
it's a really interesting way for, you know, anime artists and creators, directors and stuff like that to just go around the usual producer way and just produce something that they have full creative control over. I'm excited for this. I really am. Like, the art looks great. That trailer looks really amazing.
I hope it delivers, really, because with that much money, I hope with the names behind it and the money they have, I hope it's something that's really worth sitting down and watching again and again.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if anything, you know, like, full creative control, like, the biggest thing you get with that is just things that are interesting. Like, even if it's not, like, great, I expect that even if it fails, it's going to fail in an interesting way. And you kind of need, I mean, like, honestly, you really need just interesting successes and interesting failures to show that art is really, you know, a medium is really evolving.
true.
Because then you really get to learn from actual true mistakes in terms of ambition or like storytelling or things like that, instead of just mistakes in, well, this is tried and true and someone just did something boring.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think this will definitely be worthwhile. I'm glad they got I'm glad they hit their goal.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
also worth noting is that the project's official website will continue to accept donations via PayPal starting
Tomorrow, I think.
on September
well,
11th. So
yes.
by the time this episode is up, you can head to the Under the Dog official website. And if you did not have the opportunity to donate to the Kickstarter, you can donate to the project via PayPal. So
Just mail them all your money.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have some news on the shonen side over here.
Oh boy.
Hunter x Hunter, I've been told not to pronounce the X.
Really?
I think, yeah, in certain circles,
Really?
you're not supposed to pronounce the X.
In certain circles.
I've heard it. Hunter
The Illuminati
and Hunter.
don't pronounce
I've heard
the
it
X.
Hunter by Hunter. I've heard it Hunter x Hunter. I would love, you know, actual canon clarification on this.
You know, yeah, I'm really curious now.
Hunter fans, let us know how much I butchered that. But the manga is on hiatus again. And all I've known is that this series is notorious for going on hiatus. And the mangaka is constantly sick, which is a shame. Because the anime's hitting the peak of its popularity right now, and like people.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of Hunter and Hunter, Hunter by Hunter, whatever the fuck it is, cosplayers at Otakon this year. It seems like it's really sort of taken off recently.
Finally, the West noticed it, basically.
So
but.
I mean, like I remember hearing about it for the first time. Probably like around the time that I first started watching anime.
Yeah.
Like it's been ongoing, with hiatuses since 1998. Like it's a long time.
It's been going a long time, and there's just I think this manga has like a chronic illness or something.
Yeah.
This manga is also coincidentally married to the creator of Sailor Moon.
Oh.
So I don't know if you guys knew that little fun fact there. But yeah.
How fun. Huh.
But yeah, apparently she's not nursing him back to health. So I don't know what's going on there. But basically, there's another hiatus, and it's indefinite this time. It was only going to be a week, and then now it's just like, we don't know when he's better. So hold on to your seats, Hunter x Hunter fans, and hopefully it'll come back sooner or later.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully we'll have some good news on that front. Soon. Hopefully,
soon.
At some point.
Yoshihiro Togashi's health improves and he can get back to work. So,
yeah.
In completely unrelated news, it's good news for Tim, who we used as our image in last week's episode.
Oh God,
wearing his favorite Hello Kitty outfit. Sanrio is launching Hello Kitty Men. Sanrio is aiming to break stereotypes by introducing the Hello Kitty Men project, and their tagline is "Sorry to keep you waiting, boys."
I think you added that tone to it, but I mean,
men of the podcast thoughts.
I mean, I'm gonna be decked out in that stuff. If they can appeal to me, is it going to be like Hello Kitty but like gray and it's going to say for men and have like steel bolts riveted into it?
It's just going to be black leather and brushed steel.
Yeah.
I could imagine like really nice fitted suits and then just the lining when you open it up is just like Hello Kitty the entire way down.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
though.
or like Hello Kitty sewn lapels. I don't know, like as someone who has a vested interest in fashion, like I really like the sort of androgynous, like androgyne, like that fashionable look, and I could see some really good designer pulling that off well with just like this sort of stereotypically cute feminine like mascot image somehow just incorporating that, or it could be just super silly. Well, I guess we'll just have to see, but either way I guess we're buying Tim something to wear. Yeah.
I'm just picturing the mascot like bow removed, mustache put in place, and just like there it is, Hello Kitty for men.
Hello Kitty for men.
Hello Kitty man. Some sort of like awkward superhero, like Hello Kitty man, like, completely decked out and just flying around town.
Awesome.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Well,
cool. Well, that wraps it up for news.
Yeah.
Interesting crop stories this week. Which moves us into our first impression section. So. This was a Tim choice.
It was very much a Tim choice. It was actually recommended to me by my brother. And if you follow my Twitter account, I'm hype for this series. And now we're all going to talk about it.
You're hype for a lot of things.
You are hype for a lot of things.
Like
Your Twitter is mainly hype.
Caps Lock's permanently on, really.
Yeah.
Talking about any series, just but this series I was really surprised by. I was like, why would I like this? It's called Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun.
Yes.
Or Gekkan Shoujo
Nozaki-Kun.
Nozaki-Kun. Yes. And it's delightful. It's just really, really funny. My views on it that it's took me completely by surprise by how just purely funny and how much it plays tribute to the source material of just shoujo manga in general. So shoujo the genre of shoujo is aimed at younger girls, romance stories.
Sure.
Just cute like high school. Like, oh, he touched my hand. Oh my god. just fawning over
Senpai noticed me.
basically the genre. And so the series starts out. The first episode is a nervous, shy girl who's just finally confessing to her crush, who's the tall, like good-looking guy, and she goes, like, I'm your fan, and he goes, oh, okay, and writes an autograph for her because she's clearly his fan. But what that means is, on her side, she wants to admit and get a date,
right?
While he's like, well, I'm a published shoujo mangaka, so clearly she wants my autograph,
right?
So shenanigans happen from there, and she
says I just want to be with you all the time, and he's immediately like, oh, you want to come over my house? You want to come to my place right now? And then she spends the rest of her night doing beta for his manga pages. So she basically is just filling in black where he marks to fill in black.
And I note that she ends up doing it for 4 hours before she realizes that he's an actual published shoujo artist.
Right.
Yeah.
She hears the alias, looks at the autograph again, goes home and is like, Yuno senpai, and just everyone just assumes this published mangaka is a girl,
right.
And he's like, I did this interview, and just because I have a feminine sounding pseudonym doesn't mean I'm a girl. The coffee was bitter, and she's just floored and just fawning over him. And a lot of that, it's great because Chiyo Sakura, this main heroine, she's, clearly really invested in Nozaki, the main guy. Mm-hmm. She's clearly head over heels, but she doesn't let him get away with shit.
Right.
She's constantly throwing stuff back in his face and being like, that's a stupid panel, what is this? He's not infallible, and she's really funny in that she can dote over him 1 second but also be like, that was the worst thing ever the next second. So
all of your male characters look exactly the same.
Or just a lot of that's one of the best jokes in the first episode is just this isn't romantic at all. Just every single time he tries to come up with a new scenario of, oh, well, this could be something, right? And there's a wonderful, wonderful running joke of just oh, what would be the cute scenario of let's go home together when only one of them has a bike? And, there's the usual shoujo image of the girl riding, holding on to the guy and just riding behind, just sitting on the bike seat behind him. But apparently that's against traffic laws. And you can't really break those laws in depictions of manga, or else you'll get in trouble too. And so then it just breaks down from there, and just there's lots of things that are just
the tandem
thrown
bicycle.
Around. Yeah, it becomes the most unromantic thing possible. And I honestly, I'm really loving the series. Every single character is just this colorful shoujo archetype that is broken down until they become just this wonderfully precious loser that you just love to follow. All of these characters are just they're the shoujo types you expect, except they've all got some weird flaw to them that just makes them that much more colorful as a sort of sitcom comedy character.
Yeah, Miko Shiba, who is basically Nozaki's assistant. He comes off as I'm the suave hero type, I'm the pretty playboy, and then he says something that you would expect that type of character to say in a shoujo manga, and then he processes what he just said and he gets really embarrassed and flustered and his face gets all red.
Yeah, he's embarrassed by his own pickup lines, which is great.
Yeah.
Man, and it's really honestly just everyone has chemistry with each other. They all just get along. The jokes come really quickly. It's a very peppy show. Really pretty to look at. Nice designs and everything. Just this is the kind of light fare that I like. None of that slice of life repeat ad infinitum Barakamon bullshit.
Hey.
No.
It's not a bad, but I definitely appreciate what Monthly Girls is doing because each character has their own little bit, and you kind of can predict how they interact in certain situations, but they all throw expectations out the window a lot of times, or play right into them in the best ways.
Right.
And it's really the cast is just so much fun. I thought the first episode had set up a formula and that every episode is just going to be them being like, here's a romantic situation. Oh, here's how we shot it down. Like, here's how like it actually would be in real life, whatever.
Sure.
But
there's a lot of variety to it. Yeah. Like, I mean, just variety. So many characters get introduced, but you never feel overwhelmed by any of them. They just come in and they just add to the cast, and you feel like they've been there forever.
And all of them are like genuinely likable.
Yeah,
like there isn't a character that's like, fuck that guy, or like, and none of them are like totally underdeveloped either. So
there is one unlikable character.
Okay,
but that's Seo.
Oh,
but
no, I like
lovable.
her.
No, I like her though. I like her too. Yeah.
Like Nozaki just hates like no anything but her, but she's just
basically like she is like he's looking. He asks Sakura if she can provide someone to people watch so that he can get. That's how he gets his ideas for characters. And so Sakura says, "Oh well, I know this girl named Seo. There's always someone chasing her. She's always on lookout. She's always on the run from somebody. And that apparently means that she gets in trouble a lot." And the scene where she's introduced, the people chasing her are the teachers who are trying to, I guess, reprimand her, put her in detention or whatever.
Right.
And she is just this rough, unlikable, brutally honest in the weirdest way, just like most insulting way you could possibly be. This unlikable person who is, of course, by virtue of being in a series like this, very likable for the jokes that she provides.
Right. No, Seo is like my spirit animal. Like... I really like Seo a lot. And then like the really cool thing is that like, oh, like what is that beautiful voice? And then it turns out she's like this ridiculously talented vocalist, and she actually has a lot of talent despite this like brash behavior. She's actually got like the voice of an angel.
Yeah.
I will say I'm really enjoying the series so far. I'm keeping up with all the episodes now. I think I just watched episode 10 yesterday. I'm really into it. So I went beyond first impressions. I was like, I need this all the time right now. But I will say I was a little disappointed in one of the character arcs just with, there's a character introduced, Kashima.
I really like Kashima.
I really like Kashima.
I really like Kashima because she is very... I think she's definitely sort of like a reference to Utena from Revolutionary Girl Utena, like in the way that like much like Utena, like she's a woman and she's very much a woman, but she's a prince and like she can turn straight girls like that. Like
yeah,
she has girls fawning all over her. But she has this massive crush on like a different guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, missed opportunity. Like because the way they set her up, I was like, well, this could be like, oh, maybe she's got a really big crush on a girl or something. This could be like, ooh, braving new frontiers for Japan. But no, she's just like desperately, pathetically into this guy.
But even though that happens, like I'd say just by what the show is, like it still has to accept some of the shoujo tropes to be a send-up of those same tropes.
Yeah.
And like that's the best sort of send-ups exist within the same genre that they parody. And that's going to happen with the, the princely, androgynous-looking girl character.
Yeah, I mean, Kashima, like, it's obviously just meant for laughs of like, she has like all the attention from boys and girls, like everyone wants to get with her.
Yeah.
But like she's just into this like weird little short guy like, who like sort of beats her up, sometime and like has to drag her to drama club because she's always late and stuff like that.
He's the president and she's the only one who ever skips or even thinks about skipping.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he has to keep a rein on her, yeah. But, like, there's, just once again, just every character just ends up meeting every other character, and then there's just those permutations of character interactions, and they all work. They all have their own separate jokes, and they're not ever repeated to death so far, I think. Just, like, there's just fresh interactions every single time, and there's just... I'm just laughing out loud every time I watch the show.
Yeah, same here. I only mentioned that because I was like, oh, that's a bummer, missed opportunity. But the way the character's executed, I'm still delighted every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really, really enjoying the series. I can't recommend it enough. If it's not your usual thing.
Here's the thing.
You gotta try it.
When I first saw that character in the opening in the first episode, I was like, oh, there's a prince character. I wonder if this character is going to remind me of Utena. And then, like, of course she did. Because first I was like, oh, like, I can't tell if that's a boy or a girl. And it's a girl. And she's like, oh, I'm the prince of the school. And I'm like, oh, Utena.
Yeah, I love that the character design is just from the waist up. She is just a male character design, basically.
Yeah.
She's wearing a, like, you know, V-neck sweater and a tie, but she still got the school skirt on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. That's all it really is, the signifier that, oh, she is a girl, though.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Carrie's first impression summed up, is this Utena?
Is this Utena?
Is this Utena? Check yes.
It has enough. Because, like, obviously it's trying to sort of, you know, play on a lot of classic shoujo manga, and obviously Utena falls into that.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely going to keep watching this. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't really care that much about, like, basically rom-com stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, this is so much more comedy-focused rather than the romance. Like, Sakura's, you know, infatuation with Nozaki is like, you know, it's there every single episode, but, you know, it doesn't seem like
it's always played for laughs.
Yeah. You know,
every single time.
Yeah.
Like every time you think
Really
it's gonna get really
cute
cute,
ways,
no.
It gets cute in a different way.
Yeah.
Which is just crushing their dreams, basically.
It's fantastic. We can't recommend it enough. I think Mouthful Toast gives us like a big thumbs up.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. And guess what? It's on Crunchyroll. So,
oh, it's time for the Crunchyroll ad.
You can say it.
You
oh my god.
So if you want to watch Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun, you can head to Crunchyroll via our website. So head to mouthfuloftoast.com and click on the Crunchyroll ad on the sidebar. And you can sign up for a premium membership to Crunchyroll, which will get you all of the latest episodes of Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun, in addition to any other simulcast streaming. And, you know, fall seasons right around the corner. You can watch every episode you want in wonderful HD, no commercials, no breaks. And it doesn't cost you any extra to sign up through us, but we get a little cut of that membership fee, and that helps us pay for things like hosting and other necessities for the podcast.
It's like protection money, you know? Just a little extra, you know? Yeah.
We gotta be comfortable. But yeah, so watch everything on Crunchyroll, and we have kind of a theme this episode that I didn't mention before, but you may have noticed that we had a question of the bye week that was all about back to school.
Yeah, I know you two didn't go back to school. I went back to school. I have one more semester of grad school left. So, yeah, our question was, there are so many different anime that use a school as its primary setting. Which one of these schools would you want to attend, and why?
Why?
Well, first response I see is Cromartie. Not even a question.
Yes, Colin wants to go to Cromartie.
I think a lot of the answers reference Cromartie, actually.
Yeah.
It's a fun school. Anything can happen there. You got Freddie Mercury. This is going to be good times there.
William said, I wanted to say Oran High School's namesake school, but the whole place is literally just one giant interchangeable palace hall that looks empty most of the time. Cool schools I actually want to go to are Honey and Clover's Nameless Art College, Silver Spoon's school. Both places are interesting practical settings that actually had a lot of detail put into it to show how professionals of the trade learned.
So William actually wants to go to school at the schools and like learn something,
as opposed to just like shenanigans.
Right.
Because Rachel does mention afterwards that she would want to go to the Oran High School because it's hilarious. Lots of teachers, probably on a whole new level of done with these rich weirdos.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's also a valid answer. I mean, there are a lot of great school settings out there, and yeah, Oran is definitely one of those memorable ones.
He mentioned Honey Clover and Silver Spoon. We'll have to talk about this later. Those are some great choices. I'm having a moment there.
I know William, he watches a lot of anime.
Excellent.
So, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Justin here says, if I say Kadik, will I get berated heavily? The answer is yes. Do you know what Kadik's from?
No.
I do not know what Kadik's from.
Code Lyoko. Get those foreheads out of my face.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
That's not anime.
damn.
That's not even, that's like French.
Canadian anime.
Or, yeah, it's some...
Yeah, there you go.
Go home. You're done. You're done.
It's so easy, though. Just any nationality that ends with "an," you can just do anything with it.
Justin.
I'm waiting for Afghanistan animation.
Oh, God.
On my, that's what I'm really waiting for myself.
I'm sorry, Justin, but you chose wrong.
Sam said, none. I am done with school forever. No wacky anime hijinks can lure me back.
I think that's the sane answer. I'm on the same page there.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Carrie, you're living our like constant recurring nightmare, which is waking up and knowing, like, thinking you're back in school again or late for class. But, you still have to do that, so.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, your choice.
Hey, my classes are at night, so.
No, okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Evan said that I'll take Madoka school if I get to have Homura's time reversing powers. So much cramming, so much time.
You do not.
I don't think you actually understand.
Here's the thing. She only got those time reversing powers because her friend died over and over
again. She did get really good at school, though.
She looked pretty badass by the end of the series.
That's true.
I mean, she was beating everyone in, like, marathons, and she was doing all those math equations by memory. Sure. But, I mean, like, what is it? I think that she's supposed to canon have lived through 10 years in her time looping, I think.
Wow.
Evan, you get time powers, but at what cost?
Yes.
At what cost, yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm sure acing that test for the 100th time is going to get pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julian says the inconsistently named high school that Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei takes place in. I'll actually be talking more about this series in a little bit. That place be whack, yo. I agree. Honorable mention to the school in Nichiju, which is absolutely absurd. You can probably wrestle a goat there.
Yeah, Cody also said he would want to attend the school from Nichijou. Mary said, not gonna lie, I would love to go to the high school in Fruits Basket because that student council president is pretty bombing.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Got your reasons for going to school, all priorities lined up there. So.
High school Bishonen, man. You get older, but they stay the same age. Heh, heh, heh.
Ian, you're out. Get out of here.
What? Hey, I was thinking, oh, jeez, just...
Sure.
I know what you're saying.
Okay, thank you. And let's see. Jan. Oh, I see that he wrote. Jan wrote us a nice little letter from, I guess, boarding school. Dearest mother, today Mouthful of Toast asked a great question. However, I'm stumped between Cromartie High School and daily lives of high school boys. On the one hand, being the greatest badass ever and hanging out with Mekazawa and Freddy is my dream. On the other, I love broing out with my bro hands. Well, either way, win-win.
Okay, so real quick aside about Cromartie High School. Like 6-7 years ago, I cosplayed Robot Ness from Earthbound, from like the end game where soul gets put, like the souls of the party get put into robots so they can travel through time without their bodies falling apart.
Earthbound,
Earthbound, yes, for children. And I'm at Otakon in this robot outfit, and I'm standing next to my hotel roommate who is dressed as Freddy, and this guy comes up to us and is like, yo, it's Frankie and Megazawa from Cromartie High School. I mean, we're both like, one, I'm not Mekazawa. Two, that is not their names. Like, I will never forget. Yo, it's Frankie and Megazawa.
What if it was Frankie Cyborg from One Piece showing up, hanging out? He's pretty super.
Any chance to mention One Piece?
Hey.
Yeah. You are a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Hold on. Carrie's got Utena. I got One Piece. Ian's got art. We all got our thing.
Care to read that last? I think we've got one more response by Jay.
Yes, Jay James says I can say for sure that one I would definitely stay away from is the school for the anime school days. How do you feel about that, Ian?
Those girls be nuts.
They are nuts. They are nuts. Oh, jeez.
And I think Fuka Academy from My Hime could be incredibly fun, or the Butai Academy from Hira no Aria.
I am glad that someone else watched My Hime, because sometimes I feel like I'm the only person who ever cared about that show.
What is it?
We're just like both sitting here like, I guess so.
It's
You and Jay against the
sort
world.
of, so My
Is Jay a gimmick
Hime...
account that you
God,
made?
when did that show come out? It's like, it's a dramedy, typical shoujo stuff, you know, sort of magical girls, sort of not. But basically she I don't know, there's all this crazy shit, and there's summoning weapons and summoning things called children, and
Summoning children.
yeah, well, like, they're monsters, but they call them children. And there were a ton of spin-offs. Like, there was My Otome, My Hime Exa, My Otome's Way. Like,
Would you go to the school?
no, people die.
Ugh.
Ooh, that's heavy.
Yeah. It's like, My Hime is a show that goes from, like, really lighthearted, fun stuff, and then, like, someone fucking dies, like, 2 minutes later. Like,
Sounds like anime to me.
I mean, that sounds like school.
it does, right? So let's talk about school.
Yeah, so a lot of you probably went back to school or are about to, and we realized that there's a lot of anime in school.
Yes.
Oh god, yes.
And I think the big reason for that in Japan is that a lot of Japanese classmates end up going to school with the same people the whole time, for the most part, until like high school. And high school is like the big defining, like everyone needs to pick a club and everyone needs to, you know, like you spend so much time at school. I believe they have school on Saturdays as well, or they have.
I think it's a 6-day school week, right?
Yeah. Like so much of the Japanese lifestyle is spent at school. It's like no wonder like half the anime is like, let's make school magical. You know, it's
lots of socializing that happens, lots of connections, I guess. And like there is that Japanese theme of nostalgia, which is strong in a lot of different series. And yeah, I guess that's a different vein that runs through a lot of Japanese fiction sometimes. And I could see that being a reason why that's what fills the anime landscape. Like that's the usual thing, just high school settings.
I think the other thing, and what I have always thought as far as why so much anime takes place in school, is that, you know, adolescence is like obviously like such an important part in everyone's life.
Oh yeah.
And like it's where you sort of figure out like who you are and like who you're going to be for the rest of your life. And so like high school in particular, I think serves as a good setting for anime, because adolescence can be interpreted as a theme in a number of different ways. You know, loss of innocence, in terms of finding out things about the real world that you didn't know beforehand, building relationships, all that stuff. So,
but like as honestly, like as much as that exists in media that like American stories that we're used to, like when anime does it, especially like when the Japanese look at it, it definitely seems to focus a lot on the school setting as well. Like our stories happen outside of school usually, it feels like. But no, school is just a defining thing for them, I suppose. High school especially, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a certain series that really, when I thought back to school, I thought, this is a school series that was really interesting to me when I was in high school, actually. I remember seeing the first episode of this at Otakon, like, I think my second Otakon, and I was, you know, about to graduate high school, and this was really popular for the time. Sayonara Setsubo Sensei. And I'll give a trigger warning right now. This is actually a legitimate thing. This series actually has a lot of jokes about depression and suicide. So if any of that kind of discussion is not bueno for you, I would recommend skipping ahead a little bit.
Sure. Now, for what it's worth, I always thought Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei treated the subject matter pretty tastefully. Like
as tastefully as you can.
Yeah, you know, they,
for like a wacky
they
gimmick
are
show,
like making jokes and gimmicks about it, but at the same time they do sort of address it, more subtly in like a pretty serious way.
Right. Like literally the first scene that you come across is a schoolgirl walking up to discover a man hanging from a tree.
Right.
And her first thought is, oh, I gotta help him out. And she goes and tackles him and tries to take him down, which ends up choking him even more. And the first thing he says after he's brought down to the ground, he gets up and he says, hey, I could have died. Like that's the kind of humor it is. It's like, you could have killed me. And she has no idea. Like the main girl of the series is just blissful and hopeful about everything and sees, just is the perfect foil to the main character of Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, which translates to Goodbye, Mr. Despair. And the big joke with that is that his name written horizontally spells out despair.
Right.
And he's constantly in despair about stupid, minuscule things. He's like, sporting teams, I cheered for the wrong sporting team. I have to kill myself. It's like,
yeah.
So it's really, really out there comedy. And there's so, I really appreciated this series, though, not just for the comedy, but because of the art style. It was just really dynamic and really, really interesting frames every shot. And you can tell the animators are having a good time every frame because the director places his face over all fan service. So, there'd just be a little, cut out of his face over any, panty shot.
Yeah.
And there's all these little in-jokes written on the chalkboards. I feel like it's a series more appreciated by a Japanese audience because of all the language jokes, all the snuck-in jokes and frames and such. And it's just, it feels drenched in the culture. But I still appreciated the series for what it had to offer. And it was a different take on school because for every depressing thing about this teacher tries to hammer to his class that, the world is worth despairing over, the girl always has an answer and says, no, there's hope, and just makes him look like an idiot every time for being depressed over it, which isn't necessarily the best way to handle someone being depressed.
Right.
But he is just such a clown about it. And I think that series actually helped, put a good spin on what I was going through at the time too. Cause I was bummed about getting out of school. I wouldn't go as far to say I was depressed or anything, but I definitely feel like that series in some way raised my spirits about finishing school and going out into the world. So, and the cast is just ridiculous. It's another crazy cast series where every student in the school is just completely ridiculous. So it's worth revisiting.
I always remember the blonde girl.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I was talking with Tim earlier about this, and I forgot how many episodes I watched back in high school, because and that's, if I forget how much I've watched of something, that's as bad as my memory will get. So I just didn't remember anything other than, well, it looked good. I remember the intro was really pretty to look at, but the characters are definitely memorable. Zetsubo Sensei is very memorable himself, but I think the one that I remembered was the hikikomori, or that's a social thing in Japan, people who just don't ever leave their rooms and they don't socialize with anyone ever, sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a girl who communicates only through her cell phone,
right?
But when she communicates, it's always terrible things she's saying about everyone. So,
yeah.
It's really interesting seeing a school setting from kind of the teacher's angle for a lot of it, because he goes to the student counselor to talk about his stupid problems all the time, and she's like, "I'm here for students. What are you doing?" But it's interesting seeing from the teacher angle. I think there's only a few other series that really get into that. So I think Great Teacher Onizuka, for example. Sure. There's a few others that have that, the starring character is the teacher. But I found it was a great series to go revisit and think it's back to school. I'm going back to something that was prominent when I was in high school and in a school setting, and just kind of encapsulated my hope for after school and all that. So it's a pretty interesting series.
There we go.
Brace yourself.
Carrie's talking about Utena.
Carrie's gonna talk about Utena now.
Yeah.
So trigger warning. There's gonna be talk about Utena.
Not so serious of a trigger warning.
Not so serious.
Yes.
Where do I even start with Revolutionary Girl Utena? The entire show takes place at the school.
Right.
So, the setting for Revolutionary Girl Utena is a place called Otori Academy. Now, if you look up the layout of the school is shaped like a penis, and in the center is the chairman's tower, which also is shaped like a penis.
To show how subtle the imagery is.
Yeah, there's a lot of phallic imagery in Revolutionary Girl Utena. Now,
that's the revolutionary part.
It's a revolution.
Hey!
With dicks. I actually did a panel at Anime Week in Atlanta last year that was all about the like all of the phallic imagery in like an hour-long discussion about all of the hidden penises in Utena.
All right.
Now we need a trigger warning for penises.
Hey.
I look forward to you defending your thesis stuff.
So, all right. So the thing about Otori Academy is that ultimately it ends up being like this big metaphor for like a prison. Like it's a boarding school, and all of the characters that you see are like incredibly fucked up. Like, none of the characters are perfect. For a while, you kind of think Utena is the exception to this. She doesn't really do anything wrong. At least she's presented to not be doing anything wrong or anything, maybe questionable. But as you get further on in the series, you start to realize, like, wow, she's being really selfish. And, like, wow, she's sort of disregarding the feelings of Anthe, who's the other primary character in the show, who is the Rose Bride, Anthe. And, you really start to question, what's really going on at Otori, and why are these events taking place in the way that they're taking place. And as it turns out, the person who's really been pulling the strings the whole time is the acting chairman of Otori Academy, who has basically been using the dueling game between the student council members and Utena as a way to try and unlock the Rose Gate and beyond.
Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'll try and forget that when I watch it again,
basically
for the first time.
he's trying to gain the power to, quote, revolutionize the world and gain the power of eternity, and it's never quite explained what these sort of abstract concepts really mean to him.
So he's opening Kingdom Hearts, is what you're telling me.
Shut up. We're not talking about Kingdom Hearts on this show, Tim.
Fine. They better talk about on Dense Pixels.
Whatever.
Just wait. They'll make a Kingdom Hearts anime. And we'll get to talk
there is a
about it to
manga.
our heart's content. Heart's content.
I'm sorry, you can have your answer.
But, for me, like, the school and certain aspects of the school, particularly the chairman's tower, start to represent things that are a little more sinister. And that's like my favorite part about Revolutionary Girl Utena is you go in it and you're like, here's another shoujo manga. Hoop-de-doo. I'm so excited for these like pretty things and like this main character who's like such a badass and oh, everybody's so pretty and all the boys are 8 feet tall and have the broadest shoulders ever and everybody has long flowing hair and everybody's gorgeous. And then like you get to like the end of the show and it has ripped out your heart and threw it on the floor and like stomped on it, and it really twists your ideas about like conventional shoujo manga and conventional fairy tale tropes.
That's definitely one of the reasons why it's got the longevity it has.
Yeah, like the ideas of like what is a prince and what is a prince supposed to do and what is a princess and what is her role and like what about the witch and like who are these people in this fairy tale story in this very sort of fantastic setting of Otori, and what really is going on here, sort of thing. And like there have been many internet arguments of like what actually is going on in certain scenes because there's so much almost supernatural stuff going on. So and then there's the movie. The movie. But I think the movie is worth mentioning because the movie really does show you that like Otori is supposed to be a prison for these people and their problems.
And showing a school with that kind of perspective is really interesting because you have so many series that kind of glorify, like the school experience. Like, this is the best time of your life.
Right.
You'll never get past high school. And like having a series that's so it's like we're in prison here. We have to fight each other to survive.
Yeah, that's sort of it. And, Revolutionary Girl Utena definitely focuses on, loss of innocence and, waking up to the real world as a major theme.
And waking up as a car, too.
Yes.
In the movie.
In the movie.
Well,
I'm sorry. Every time you talk about
that,
yeah,
it's always in the back of my mind.
That's what a lot of people immediately think of with Utena is isn't that the show where she turns into a car? And I'm like, she only turns into a car in the movie, and it's the most literal metaphor for Utena becoming a vehicle by which Anthe is able to escape the prison that is Otori Academy.
Literally
becoming a vehicle for Anthe. So no, if you haven't watched Revolutionary Girl Utena, I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, for me, the first time I really watched Revolutionary Girl Utena, I saw the movie first. Do not watch the movie first. I saw the movie first. I think I saw the movie in my sophomore year of high school, and I was like, wow, that was really pretty, but what happened? What was that? The movie actually makes a lot of sense if you've seen the show all the way through, and you can sort of interpret the movie as a retelling of the themes of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I sort of I don't know what it was, but something in my head was just watch Revolutionary Girl Utena again. And I watched the series all the way through because in high school I had seen a few episodes, and then I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, Revolutionary Girl Utena. And then my boyfriend was stupid enough to get me the remastered HD DVD sets.
Oh, so you're set for life.
So yeah, and then I made him watch all of it with me. My boyfriend is very tolerant of my obsession with Revolutionary Girl Utena. But yeah, that's a show, very influential in terms of its impact on anime in general as well.
Well, it's even though I haven't seen it, its influences and just the idea of what it influences is hard to escape. You could definitely, it's very easy to draw the analogy between, say, Neon Genesis Evangelion did things for mech anime, Revolutionary Girl Utena did things for just shoujo, magical girl, and, just also the idea of the magical escapist school setting, those magical schools where things happen. It definitely set a blueprint there, and you can feel that in those sorts of series that you watch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, also worth noting is the fact that a lot of stuff in Utena, as far as how Utena and Anthe are portrayed with each other, was taken directly from how Sailor Neptune and Uranus were portrayed in Sailor Moon, because Kunihiko Ikuhara directed those seasons or that particular season of Sailor Moon. And there was a lot of stuff that he wanted to do with those characters that they wouldn't let him do. So he was like, you know what? I'm having my own magical lesbian show. God damn it. Now there's definitely some stuff in Utena that people consider sort of problematic because Ikuhara has done some questionable stuff in terms of he kind of fetishizes lesbians a little bit, and you can sort of see that in the show, and you can definitely see that in the movie. I think he's a really talented director, but I think he has done some stuff that I don't necessarily approve of, and you can sometimes see that in Utena, and I really try to look past that. So, if you have, issues with, lesbianism basically being fetishized for a male gaze, you will kind of see that a little bit in Utena. I also find it interesting that Ikuhara's Wikipedia page is Sailor Moon, Utena, post Utena.
Kind of
like Ano is.
Ano is
Evangelion
Evangelion post Evangelion.
Post Evangelion.
You do that one work that changes the world of anime.
Yeah.
And it's like
everything you do is going to be post that too.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Ikuhara's done some other stuff since then, like Mawaru Penguin Drum.
Okay, that's a bit
Which I've heard is amazing.
Yeah,
which I've heard is
Mawaru
super
Penguin
amazing.
Drum is very good. I haven't seen it all the way through yet, and his most recent project is called Yuri Kuma Arashi, which is literally translated as Lily Bear Storm. So he's that's what he's working on
Well, there's that.
now. I don't think it's starting until sometime next year. It was only announced a couple weeks ago that the anime is being produced by Silverlink. So
Haven't heard much from that studio. So
they were established by former JC staff members, and of course JC staff did Revolutionary Girl Utena, so
Right.
Oh,
it
it's
all
those
makes
dudes.
sense.
All right, cool. All right, we'll look forward to that then.
Utena. All right, Ian, you can talk now. I'm done.
Man. Okay. All right.
No more Utena references the rest of any other show.
Nope. That's
We
still
just,
gonna happen.
there's a moratorium on that. You had your piece. All right. We're moving on.
I got it
Utena
out of my
doesn't exist for the next hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rest of the
so-
episode. The rest of the episode.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
So since I gotta pick a school anime, and unfortunately I already talked about Aku no Hana in the first episode. I really wanted to talk about that one because that's, I think, the perfect just idea of actual adolescence portrayed in school. But okay, just go back and listen to what I said about that. But so, I mean, I'm really tired of the school setting, mostly from like the most popular series and stuff like that. Because mostly it's just, it feels like things are just set in school just because, like, it's a relatable setting, but it's never truly like teenagers in that setting acting like as teenagers. It's just more, we want to set this in a school because it will market it better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
so
little
I
hollow.
actually, yeah. It's just a repeated image that doesn't really get any innovation to it. And so I actually went to our guest, Lindsay, and asked her for some suggestions to what series to watch if I wanted something different. And we, we bounced some titles around, and she ended up convincing me to watch a show called Hyouka, which I found out is not licensed in the US at all. So if you're going to watch this, well, I guess you're going to have to use those fan subs. But it's interesting because, well, it's by Kyoto Animation. It's recent. And I think that it would actually be a really easy sell over here. And I'm surprised that it isn't. Basically, there is this guy who he's starting high school. So in Japan, I guess that's 3-year high school. So he's 15. His name is Hotaro. He has a motto in life, which is he likes to conserve energy as much as he can, not do anything he doesn't have to do, and if he has to do something, he wants to get that over with, like, really quickly. Everyone else around him is very much interested in going to high school and starting their quote-unquote rose-colored high school life, but he wants to just stay in the gray. He's happy with the gray. He's not an unpopular kid. He's not antisocial or anything, but he's just got a different speed to life. But he ends up getting convinced by his sister to join the Classics Club because without a member, that club will end. And in walking into the club room, he meets this girl there, Chitanda Eru, who they just end up being a little interested by each other. And she, like, very obviously starts adding color into his life because the club kind of grows to these 4 central characters. And what they do is that adds that extra bit to high school is they solve these kind of everyday mysteries. Just mysteries set in school, about school. Just like, oh, like, I heard that there was this girl who heard some piano music come from the music room. She opened that door and there was no one playing the piano and all the, like, doors and shutters were closed and it was dark. But then she saw something moving in the dark. And it's basically the lowest stakes Sherlock you could possibly imagine. Because it's all everyday mysteries set in school with, like, seemingly kind of mundane solutions. but they're always presented in a very interesting way, and just like that idea of color in life, just everyday life. Like every single solution is interesting because there's just little bits to the way it all unfolds. And it's nice. It's an adaptation of a light novel series. And like, so from that, the author of that series seems to actually be a pretty decent writer. So there's really decent pacing. The characters are all much better than we usually get for a high school show, I think. In that, one thing that I noticed is that they're all much more aware of each other's feelings. They have much more realistic reactions and interactions with each other that way as well. And just, there's actual character development. They're not staying static. They're actually changing. Like, I finished the first 5 episodes, and Hotaro, like this guy who's always like, gray life is okay. I don't want to really do much. Like after 5 episodes and just solving this like mystery that's grown like bigger and bigger about Eru's uncle and like something that happened in the past with the Classics Club 45 years ago in the school, and like it builds and he solves it, and he starts questioning like, I wouldn't mind a pink life really, but I'll think about it. And there's actual development, like people interact in a good way, and it actually feels like kids in high school having that like regaled Japanese high school experience and actually changing as people because of it.
Now, you mentioned gray and rose a lot. Do these colors take part in the animation as well? Or?
Actually, yeah, it's nice. Like one of the best things about the show, and like another reason why I think it's so weird that it wasn't brought over, is that it's definitely not the KyoAni B team. Like their series, most famous series is probably K-On! They're also known for Free.
Right.
Like they've got very, very good animation teams working on their stuff. Like Haruhi Suzumi as well. And like, yeah, just the bits of just heightened reality or subjective flashbacks, like they're all storyboarded in different ways. Like they've all done in like show, don't tell sorts of ways. Like be it a discussion of theories on like how like answers to this mystery might show up as like really nice typographic or infographic elements behind the characters as they're talking.
Ooh.
Or a character talks about her memories and it's her 45 years ago in full color moving through what looks like rougher drawn pictures from the 1960s. And like everything's got this visual inventiveness to it. Something I really like is that it also like sometimes that it doesn't really call attention to itself. Like he ends up meeting Hotaro ends up meeting Chitanda at a cafe on a Sunday once, and he's definitely interested in her, and she definitely has some feelings towards him. And so she's about to ask him for a favor, like helping her solve this like personal mystery in her life, dealing with her uncle. But he like initially thinks that it might be a love confession. And without any really sort of like sound cue or any like cue really, just the scenes, each shot starts being tinted pink and more warmly with like autumn light just starts coming through. And one of my favorite bits about that scene is that the little pendulum in the wall clock changes from a circle to a heart. And there's no real like draw attention to that. It just becomes this subjective thing that's happening in Hotaro's head as he imagines, like just, oh, like could this be something? And it's nice. Like there's just so much visual inventiveness that happens, like just be it like small bits of visual interest or actually full blown subjective, like just POV, like flashback sort of things.
That sounds really interesting. And I cannot believe it's not picked up by anybody.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. Like what's the problem? Is it like really ingrained in Japanese culture that they think we wouldn't get it, or is it just
I mean, it really isn't. Like it's just the high school students doing high school things, and there's some Japanese culture stuff as much as a regular anime might have.
Yeah.
And like I like honestly with these sorts of things there might just be a problem between a publisher and a studio. Maybe someone just said no in the line of people that are supposed to say yes.
Right. Could be anything.
And for what it's worth, like I mentioned, it feels like a really, really low stakes Sherlock, but in a good way, like in a really like interesting, whimsical way. And I think that's one of the reasons why it could be brought over. But I guess we'll have to see. It came out 2 years ago, so might never come, but
Well, we'll hope something happens for that, Maybe if we start banging on their doors and be like, hey, you licensed this, come on, bring it over. A very sternly worded email to Crunchyroll.
I would definitely be, first on board to bring it over. I'm really enjoying this series. It feels fresh. Like, it doesn't feel like other high school shows, I guess, which there are a million.
Right.
And the fact that can stand out, that's something. That's worth saying something.
Yeah, any series that can stand out with that typical setting that doesn't try to make it like, oh, it's a magical high school, or it's a high school in space. It's like
high school in space.
In space. Oh my god!
It's a high school of the dead.
Right to Japan. High school in space. Let's do it. Just Japan Prime Minister.
Please put a high school in space.
Yes.
Please, just right
away.
Make
it happen.
Attach some rocket engines, blast it off. Write some anime. No.
Done. All right.
But yeah, that's our back to school section for now. Just an interesting theme, and if you have any ideas for themes, let us know.
Yeah.
We liked it. Just given kind of a guidance points for what we're going to talk about. So just shoot us a little comment or whatever. And if you want to help us out even further, you can go to our website, mouthfultoast.com, and click the little button at the top right near that new host page. There's also a button for Amazon. You should definitely click that button and go shopping, because just a little bit of the money you're paying for Amazon is going to go to us. And like we said before, we like money.
Yeah. What the button does is it sends you to Amazon. Sends you to the front page.
Just steals your money and gives it to us. Wait.
No. They can't know.
So you're not actually paying any extra when you shop through the Amazon affiliate link. So I know a few people have been shopping with us. So if you're really in the market for anime or zombie dildos, whatever.
We're not going to judge.
No. Amazon's
got money.
You can get a giant 20-gallon can of lube, like whatever you want to get.
I mean, if it's on Amazon, you're fine. You're fine. Everything. We're not going to judge you.
Yeah.
It doesn't show us your purchase history; it just gives us the money, so it doesn't matter.
No, we can see the purchases.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's the last time I buy
I think the only person who sees it is our producer Jay. So
you might give him a giggle. But...
You might give him a giggle. So,
I mean, I would shop with it more, but I would just give us money. I would just hand a few dollars.
You can also donate to the show.
Yeah, you can just donate if you like us that much. Please notice us.
We are all homeless
please
right now,
us.
so
yeah.
I'm really sick of panhandling, guys.
He's been on the street for days.
Yeah.
All right, which moves us into convention coverage. So
there's some cons coming up, but I can't think of them right now. So, but we got
You're going to one this weekend.
I can't think of any. Oh, right.
That one.
It's not anime.
Yeah, I can't think of any anime.
Yeah.
But there's Music and Games Fest 8.5, which is like a smaller offshoot of
MagFest. You'll be there all weekend?
Most of the weekend, yeah. I'll be doing improv on the Saturday. We're doing Those Guys Are Sick, or These Guys Are Sick, whatever it's called. Joining their little improv team. And
cool.
Should be video game themed fun. And then also this weekend, a Small Press Expo, which is a small press, indie comics, web comics, stuff like that. It's not anime, but stuff going on this weekend.
I can mention.
I'm going to
some anime stuff.
I'm going to MagFest. I may or may not cosplay. I have a really easy to wear Fallout 3 Vault 101 jumpsuit, which is appropriate given that this is happening right outside of DC.
Yeah, do it.
So
highly encourage it.
I may wear that. So if you see a Vault Dweller at MagFest 8.5, come say hi.
I'll be wearing clothes.
I would hope so.
I mean, yeah, let's hope. Ooh, we don't want to get in trouble like last time.
Anything can happen at the improv panel. Let me just say that.
You might put on more clothes. Ooh.
Ooh, spice it up. But we got some horror stories and some good stories.
Yay!
But primarily horror stories.
Oh.
Dave sent us an email, our lovely listener Dave, and first horror story goes a little something like this. My first convention I went with my best friend and both of our mothers. We tried to do a little of everything on the schedule, so when it came to watching new anime, we decided to go watch some anime we never heard of. This is not a good idea typically, and you'll see why in a second. The mistake was that somehow we were allowed in, maybe because we were without parents, and it ended up being a hentai. I have never stood up and yelled, "Let's go get lunch," as quickly as I ever had that day. So they were definitely underage. Definitely not what they wanted. Too many tentacles.
You mean to tell me that he did not want to watch Love Blue Girl that day?
Maybe if it was Bible Black.
Yeah, maybe if it was the dub Bible Black, yes.
Maybe some Boku no Pico. That'd be a good quality watch.
Yeah. Right. Took it too far. I shouldn't have told that one. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh.
It's always too far with Boku no Pico.
This is true.
And in terms of good con stories, Dave has given us, there have been many times in which I would be wandering a convention alone or drift off from a group of friends at a photo shoot and run into really cool people. There are times that you only really talk to those people at that moment at the con that make things great and memorable. And then there are times that you exchange numbers, Twitters, or Tumblr usernames and become good friends at conventions. I have made a lot of great friends by simply talking to new people. And I mean, I just have to echo that good story. I mean, I love making friends at conventions.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. I mean, that's how I'm friends with Dave, Box Topo Dave, is conventions. Mm-hmm. So
I've made like some of the longest friendships I've had through conventions.
Absolutely.
And then what's really funny about that stuff is like you meet someone at a convention and you become really good friends with them. And for me, not too long ago, I was going through like old convention photos, like 2005, 2006, Otakon. And I'm going through and I'm looking at like these group shots and I see like, holy shit, my friend Jerry is standing right next to me. Now we didn't start like formally meeting until like 3 years later, and then we didn't start hanging out until that, and then like I went to his wedding earlier this year.
Wow.
But like to go back and be like, wow, like it's a tiny community really when you think about it.
Did we tell the story about how I show up in a picture in one of your roommates' picture on account? That you moved in?
I don't think we have yet. Yeah, go ahead.
So I moved in with a couple friends of mine. My boyfriend and I moved into a townhouse in Hamden in Baltimore earlier in the summer, and they got bored one day and they were going through like all of these convention photos on like his hard drive or whatever, like on the smart TV.
Yeah.
And Chris, my boyfriend, is like, wait, stop. And Tim was in the background of one of these pictures.
Just like a blurry Bigfoot photo.
Just like being like tall in the background.
Irrefutable proof.
He texted me that night. He's like, "It's you. What are you doing in this picture?" And I'm like, "What am I doing in that picture? What is this?
Why do you have this picture?"
Were you at that Otakon? He's like, "No, my new roommates were." I was like, "What?
Yeah.
What?" That's why I call it Smaltimore.
Yeah.
So that's just blew my mind. So yeah, you don't know who you'll end up ever meeting. You just dig up old pictures and be like, I'm best friends with them now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, there's some good con stories that come out, and then
there's this.
Ooh, yeah, this was
this was anonymous.
Yeah.
Which is fine if you're uncomfortable sending if you want to send us like awful shit that happened to you and you don't want a name attached to it, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
So this person said, I was at a con last year and woke up early in the morning to find that a guy in the same bed as me was playing the skin flute. I saw everything. It was horrible. The whole room smelled like semen all weekend, and I now know why. For heaven's sake, if you're gonna slam the ham at a convention, do it in the bathroom.
Slam the ham.
I do like that a lot.
Huge fan of the terminology used in this story. That's fucking disgusting.
It is gross.
Do not wank it in the room, especially with like people you don't know.
No, like common courtesy. Like if you like really gotta get your rocks off, like do it in the shower where it can wash down the drain. Off. Like don't jizz all over the sheets in the morning. Like
when someone else is in that bed with you.
It's so gross.
Just like, hold on, I gotta. Oh, you're there. Oops. Like no.
Oops, I splooged on your costume. Sorry.
Semen stains don't wash out very well from costumes.
Not that I would know.
Not that any of us would know.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to go say Tim knows. I'm
No.
assuming Tim knows.
Tim.
I'm getting more words put in my mouth.
Tim is a furry and he jacks off on his costumes. Good.
Well, we are just building a character profile. We'll send this to the FBI and they'll do a profile on you. It's great.
This is going to be the episode title, isn't it? Oh my
Once
God.
again. Yeah. Do you have a picture of you jizzing, Tim? Oh no! Oh god! No.
Well,
Why
no,
would you
no.
ask that? Why would you do that, Ian?
Why?
Why?
Okay,
All
so
right.
that happened.
Yep.
So feel free to send convention stories. We'll read them on the air. We'll joke about them. We'll throw me under the bus every time.
Yes.
Every time.
And if you have any cool convention pictures, cosplay pictures, share them on the wall.
Send them to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us
Please.
see the costumes. We'll share ours. We got links to our ACP accounts in our bios in the host page. You got to show us the costumes.
Yeah.
We want to see, just tell us what cons you're at. And like we said, if you write something about it too, we'll take a look. And
Yeah.
give us a good con report because we can't be everywhere.
No.
There's no way.
Nope. I got to work on my own costumes.
I got a life.
Do you?
No.
No. Yeah.
It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
Least believable person to say that on this podcast.
Jeez.
All right. We have one trailer this week.
One trailer.
This isn't anime, but it's based off of anime.
Yes, it is.
So
It's the trailer for the second of 2 live-action Rurouni Kenshin movies that came out, I think, this year. This one's coming out this year. And the last one came out, I think they both came out this year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I only put it up because, I am a Rurouni Kenshin, fanatic. I really, really love the heights of that series. It does so much good. My defining shonen series. I didn't know that these movies were happening until this trailer for this second one came out. And, I mean, I'm curious. The trailer, I will say, as someone who likes good film, the trailer, I will say, does not look great. But
Really?
Yeah.
Because they
No,
also did the Phoenix Wright movie, didn't they? Same director?
I think so.
Yeah.
And apparently the Phoenix Wright movie was really good.
It was
I still haven't
fun.
seen it.
Yeah. So,
I mean, different genres, though, too. So
maybe the
this
cinematography.
seems very like a staid action movie. Yeah, not really. But I might check it out. I mean, Rurouni Kenshin. Got to relive my childhood somehow.
I will say, when I was watching the trailer, it seemed like I think they changed some story details to make it.
They did. Yeah.
And,
Very much changed plot stuff. Which makes it run better as a movie, I'm guessing, which is,
right. Only
fine
if those
with that.
changes are good to make it a better movie, I'm all about them. If they're changes to be like, well, we don't know how to do this, and it's just, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I guess we'll see when it comes out.
We'll see. It's a curiosity, that's for sure.
Yeah. And that's it for trailers. And do you have any Nerdpocalypse news?
Well, new episode of Dense Pixels. Talk a lot about Destiny. So
Figured
if
as
you've
much.
been playing Destiny and you need to take a break, but you don't really want to take a break from Destiny, listen to Dense Pixels. Very funny episode this week. Very funny episode of the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I was not there this week. It is Jay, Micah, and Terrence on this week's episode of the Nerdpocalypse, and the title involves something about the thong song.
So you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week's episode was also really good. That one was called Breast of Burden. So this week is called the Thong Song of Ideas.
Oh, boy.
I'm not yet sure what that means. I believe there is a new episode of Black on Black Cinema also available.
Apparently it's hot on
the
Stitcher.
spook-
Yeah, very hot on Stitcher.
the spook who sat by the door, right?
Yes.
They did this week?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did The Spook Who Sat by the Door. And I
Which is a
believe
very interesting movie.
new episodes of Love School for Nerds are forthcoming. So,
It's a time of love. Back to school. You gotta get the love. It's where romance blossoms. Just like Monthly Girls Nozaki-Kun, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yay!
So, yeah, lots of stuff going on with the Nerdpocalypse. There was also last week sort of a bonus for the Nerdpocalypse. Jay was able to interview the guy who is directing or is working on the documentary on Superman Lives, which was the failed Superman movie project that would have starred Nicolas Cage as Superman.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, that
And
I
like
want to see.
Tim Burton directing it, and like
What the
it really
hell?
like you can find trailers on that. Definitely listen to the interview. It's really interesting stuff because it seems like they had all of the pre-production done and they were like at the point where filming would have started. And it just completely fell apart.
Someone opened their eyes and they're like, "This is
a terrible idea.
What have
They
we
just
done?
woke up from a trance.
Nicolas
It's
Cage
like,
should not be Superman."
This is why God doesn't talk to us anymore."
So, no, really interesting stuff. It's been an interesting couple weeks for the Nerdpocalypse Network, of which we are a part of. So please listen to our other shows. You can also follow us and the other shows on Facebook. You can follow us specifically at facebook.com/Mouthful of Toast. Give us a like.
We got Twitter going on.
Yeah.
At Mouthful of Toast. Ian's.
That's right. We're trying to hit 250 followers on Facebook right now. We've made that number because we're at 190 something right now.
Yeah,
And
I think
I can say that we can hit it, and we'll definitely run a giveaway. I say that it's time to pull from my stuff that I'd like to
good.
Ooh,
get rid of, donate to anime charity.
The hidden Ian stash. That's the good shit.
That's a good shit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it though?
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got some stuff.
Okay.
I've got some stuff.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, Ian's running the Twitter for the most part. So if you want to see some wacky shenanigans on at Mouthful of Toast, definitely we'll give you the updates there, but also some little cute things too.
Yes, Ian's been doing a good job with our Twitter.
Thanks.
Yay!
Ian just went
noticed me.
just completely silent on that. He's like, God, I don't want to.
And
You revealed the secret.
I'm sorry. The curtain's been pulled back. It's Ian there, just sitting there, being the wizard. But yeah, we have another bonus episode coming up next week. It's not going to be a usual thing, but we actually got enough bonus episodes for next few months. So next week, I will have a friend of the show come on who is a up-and-coming voice actor for Funimation, and I finally get to talk about One Piece, but mainly voice acting. So definitely tune in for that. We'll give you more updates online and let you guys ask questions about voice acting, about, what it takes to get in, all about. His name is Chris Guerrero, and you may know him as General Ivan. So he will be joining us on the show for a little bonus talk.
Yep.
We'll have another bonus slice. We'll keep up with the bonus slices, let you know when that happens.
And that's about it for us this week.
That's everything.
Yep. Stay tuned for more toast. And don't eat too much.
Good sign off. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome, Ian.
All right.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yep. See you next week, everyone.
Bye.
So long.